Every day I drive my car to work, I notice something is missing from the inside. First, a couple of CDs, then some clothes I keep in my car. There was never any sign of entry, and when I checked my dashcam, I never saw anyone approach the vehicle. I kinda just figured I'd dumbly misplaced them, until I saw her in my rearview mirror. One day I'm driving to work, and I check my blind spot on my passenger side before merging. I merge and check my rear view to see if any cars were approaching. Sitting dead center in the backseat of my car was a woman with no teeth. She kept smacking her gums together as she stared at the mirror directly at me. I swerved and almost ran my car off the road. I turned around, only to find my back seat completely empty. When I looked in the mirror, she was still there, just looking at me, smacking her gums together. I pulled the car over and threw my hazards on. When I turned into my back seat again, she wasn't there. I held my hand out to the open air and waved it around. Abruptly, my fist stopped swinging. I felt pressure surrounding it. I looked to my rear view mirror and saw her grabbing my hand with both of hers. When I saw her pulling my hand to her mouth, I felt those loose, toothless gums against my knuckles. I ripped my hand away and exited the vehicle. I'm going crazy, I told myself. I didn't tell anyone. The presence became worse. As the days continued, she did too. Any reflection in a car window or my bathroom mirror showed her biting down on those gums. I began to smell them and heard her siren call of violence. I stopped sleeping. I was so terrified of mental illness, I never got it checked. My wife noticed something was wrong, and she told me we should go for a drive to relax. No! I screamed out. I could tell I was scaring her, but I couldn't contain composure. I stared at my wife, and for the first time, I saw the woman. No reflection, no whispers, just flesh and bone. She was smacking her gums together and dragging a long, bony finger across her neck. She was staring directly at the back of my wife's head. I lunged at the demon and knocked my wife over. Terrified, she got up and ran into the bedroom, barricading herself while she called the cops. When I got thrown into the back of the police car, the woman was sitting right next to me, the wet sound of gum hitting gum echoing in the empty car. The cop climbed into the front seat and turned towards me. Suddenly, his eyes became wide. He screamed out with a cracked voice, "Who the fuck is she?" Today, my little sister woke up missing her eyes. All the tests showed no abnormality, except for her skull X-ray missing her eye sockets. The doctors were speechless. Iris adjusted to her new life slowly. She took a break from school. Actually, she was always strange prior to this incident. First, she's 10, but could only speak no more than 2 words per sentence. Isaac, hungry. She never showed emotions. I thought she would stop drawing flowers on everything after the incident. They just got more squiggly. One day she drew something different. No more flowers, but eyes. On desks, walls, eyes everywhere. Cleaning them every day got tiring. Every time Mum tried to make her draw only on paper, Iris threw a tantrum. She mentioned seeing with those eyes. I suspected. She began to repeat. Mum fell. I didn't understand it at first. Then, she drew lots of eyes mostly at the stairs. Mum fell. And weeks later, Mum fell down that very flight of stairs. Since Mum was hospitalised, I had to take care of Iris alone. I took all her art supplies. Her mood got worse every day. One time when I came back from school, the living room was coated in eyes painted by ketchup. But the worst of all, she began mumbling words you shouldn't be hearing from your family. Isaac, dead. I was reaching the limit with this girl. I planned to wait until Mum came back. Right now, I would let her say whatever she wanted. One night, I bought a lamp, a UV lamp specifically. You know, for a party next week. This kind of lamp reveals stains on your walls. I regretted my curiosity. Eyes, covered every single square inch of my house, written by some sort of invisible ink. Iris! Damn you! Then she was there, shrouded in darkness. A UV pen? How the... As she stepped in the living room, the black light shone on her, revealing eyes, dozens of them, drawn all over her body. They shimmered, especially the largest one on her forehead. Isaac. Dead. Isaac. Dead. Isaac, dead! She sprinted onto me screaming, running across hundreds of glowing eyes in the room, pushed me over the couch. I tried to run, but she grabbed my ankle. I fell. Isaac, dead! Isaac, dead! You monster, let me go! I looked at her. The eyes on her were brighter and brighter, and then... The whole room was lit. followed by a loud bang. Iris still pushed me down. I turned my head. Half of the living room was destroyed. As the dust cleared out, something large in the middle of the room. It was a truck, crashed in through the front door right where I was standing before. Then my face felt a splat. Clear water dripped from each of the painted eyes on Iris. Her voice trembled repeatedly. Isaac, safe. My imaginary friend just offered me a ticket to paradise. My parents were fighting again. So I locked myself in my room, shouting for my imaginary friend. When I was 5, I lost him in an accident. I was okay, but when I woke up in the emergency room, he was gone. Now he was back. He was a shadow with no face, yet in the reflection of the window, I imagined he looked like my favourite Disney prince. I called him Flea. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw the boy leaning on his fist, copying me. I can take you to a magical place. Where were you? I grumbled. His expression darkened. I was away. Well, take me to this magical place, I said. I hate it here. The boy shot me a grin. I have multiple tickets to paradise. Introduce me to your friends, and we have a deal. He held up his hand for a high five, and after hesitating, I slapped it. The next day, I proudly pointed to Harvey Connors. I like him, my imaginary friend said, circling Harvey, who shot me a weird look. What are you looking at, weirdo? He's nice, I said this when Flea raised a brow. I picked the other kids who would join me, Lily Carter and Wren Littlewood. I went to see Harvey to tell him about our trip to paradise, but when I arrived, his mother was screaming, and I was standing in a pool of scarlet spreading across the concrete. The boy's eyes were still open. It looked like he was smiling. My head started to spin and I could sense Flea behind me, his breath in my ear. 4 kids were dead. Harvey had dived out of his bedroom window. In the days following, Lily Carter drowned in the bathtub, and Wren Littlewood toppled off the jungle gym. Flea! I screamed when I got back home. What did you do? Running over to my window, I threw it open, only for warm hands to push into my back. Then I was falling. I felt myself hit the ground. I felt my body break into pieces. But I wasn't expecting to wake up. I was in a room with no doors, no windows, and nothing. Bright white light blinded me, and I blinked rapidly. I'm sorry. Flea was in front of me, and he looked strangely human. His eyes were hollow. If I didn't recruit more IFs, they were going to fucking kill me. I started to get up, panic flooding through me when I couldn't. IFs. Ben, someone called from outside. Leave the new recruits alone. Something cold shot down my spine. Flea's name was Ben. Outside, I could hear Harvey Connors screaming. I didn't understand why until I stared down at myself and at my body. That was no longer a body. I was nothing but shadow and oblivion, an outline waiting to enter a child's mind. Imaginary friends, Flea said, his voice breaking. Welcome to your first day. Please remember to subscribe for more videos if you enjoy this one,